Hi, teacher.
How are you? Still
I'm
fine?
fine. Yes, fine. Thanks. And you?
I'm okay. I was thinking about that place that you told me where you are at this moment.
Araçoiaba da Serra. Yes, it's near
Yes,
Sorocaba. Do you know Sorocaba, teacher?
yes. I
Yes,
was thinking of,
my parents live in here. Lives,
uh,
né? Lives here.
no, my parents live.
Live. Yes, it's live here.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that because when you mentioned the name, maybe it's so small that we should use the preposition on and not even in.
Yes, it's super small. Super small.
Okay. In English, there is an expression, maybe it's a one horse town. Okay.
One
It's so,
horse town.
yes, it means it's very small. It's a very
Okay.
old expression when a city had just one horse or just a
This
one
is
car
the
town. Yes.
uh,
But
this is the case. Yeah.
do you have like a country house there or you live there?
No, my
Because
parents
uh, your
live
parents,
here. Yes, my parents
your
live here.
parents.
I live in
So
São Bernardo do Campo, near São Paulo. Do you know?
I know. Yes, of course I do. Yes, that's a little bigger. That's in for sure. Where you are now, I think it's on. We have to change the
On. Yeah.
preposition. Okay. Yes, I live on. Okay. How about you, Marcos? How are you today?
Hello guys, I'm
Hello.
okay. And
How
you?
are you doing? Good?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Okay. Today we are going to have a class. It's a little different. I tried very hard to find a story about lawyers, and I finally found one. Okay. Today, unfortunately, Livia is not here, or it would be perfect.
Yes, where is Livia?
I don't know. She wasn't here yesterday either. Okay. I think she is
Oh,
too tired. She said she was working too hard. Okay. But
yes.
I don't know. Well, let's start without further ado. Okay. I will share my screen and I will see with you the stories that we have to talk about today. Okay.
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 The first one, I chose it because Marcus is an electrical engineer. Okay, he's
Really?
a real,
Yeah.
yes, one of those nerds,
My
understand?
sister, my sister is an electric engineer.
Oh,
Another
nice,
nerd,
very nice. No, it's not
another
a
nerd,
nerd. It's not a nerd. It's a normal person.
a normal person, my ass, okay?
Yes, a little normal. It's true.
You see? You can't be normal to study electrical engineering,
Oh my
understand?
God, engineering is not normal. Oh my gosh.
No, come on.
No, I wouldn't say that because I myself I am an engineer too, but I'm not crazy to, or
Really,
I was,
teacher? Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
yes, but I'm a
You look
civil
so
engineer.
normal. You don't look like an engineer. So normal.
Yeah, yeah, but I was a little, let's say, crazy when I was younger. Understand?
Oh my gosh,
As
yeah.
time goes by, we learn certain things. Today, probably I would not study engineering again, okay? No more calculus or algebra or physics,
I
okay?
don't know what's the worst, the lawyers or the engineers. I don't know what's the
Well,
worst.
I decided to study engineering because I can't lie very well, understand? I'm
Okay.
not very good.
Okay.
I'm not very good at lying, so I decided to study engineering, okay?
Me
Uh,
Okay.
neither.
I have a son. It was a very funny thing. Many times when he was young, he would come and start saying something, and it was obvious it was not true. And then one day we told him that if you lie, it appears here on your forehead, I'm lying.
Oh my
Okay, so
gosh.
don't lie to us. And okay, but he was like 2 or 3 years old. So it was very fun because many times he would come running, Mom, Dad, Mom, Dad. I have to tell you something, but he would already cover his forehead. Understand? It was so funny. Every time he was going to say a lie, he would cover the forehead and say something. Understand? And so we would know you're lying. No, I'm not lying. Okay. It was really funny. Okay, so this first story, it has to do with the electrical engineers and scientists. Okay, it's about a computer. So
Oh,
why?
nice.
Yes. Why don't we do this? Each one of you is going to read a paragraph, okay? And then we can discuss and continue reading. The idea is you have to try to discover the end of the story, okay? So, Carol, ladies first. Why don't you start reading, please?
Okay. A group of international scientists decide to design and build the largest and most powerful computer in the world. The scientists believed that such a computer would solve all the complex problems of science and mathematics in seconds.
Okay,
Continues?
Max. No,
Okay.
Max.
It took 20 years to build the computer. It was so large that it occupied a building of 30 floors. The scientists were very pleased with their creation. They chose a date on which to introduce the computer to the world, and they invited the famous scientists to come along and test the computer.
Okay, Carol.
An Italian
Mathematician.
An Italian mathematician had spent 5 years working on a difficult mathematical problem. When he gave the problem to the computer, it answered in 2 seconds. The Italian mathematician, it's okay, was
The Italian
also,
mathematician.
and the Italian mathematician was astonished. It's correct.
Astounded. It's different. It's
Astounded.
almost the same idea of astonished,
Okay.
but astonished, we say T. Here is astounded.
Astounded.
It's,
Okay.
it's correct.
It's correct. He shouted and left the room. Shouted and left the room.
Okay, Max. Max,
Sorry. Yes, I mute my...
Wake up and continue.
Okay.
A British?
Yes. A British scientist had spent his life trying to predict British weather
British. Weather?
Weather without much success. The ability to predict the weather in Britain is important so that tourists will know the best time to come on holiday. The British scientists gave the computer a lot of facts about the climate in Britain.
The climate in Britain.
And after 10 seconds, the computer produced a detailed description for a complete year. The scientist was delighted.
Delighted. Very good. Come on, Carol.
Problem after problem was given to the computer. It solved all of them easily.
Okay, very good. That's it. All of them easily.
So the eager voices of the scientists grew quieter and quieter until there was silence in the room. The scientists had no more questions to ask. What means eager? Eager voice, teacher?
Eager, the anxious.
Anxious, okay.
Anxious voices, you know? Yeah, because every question, every problem they presented to the computer answered very fast, okay?
Okay.
Marcos.
At that moment, the lady who was serving tea at the coffee shop shouted to the computer. Shouted to the computer. Is there a God? The computer's light flashed and flashed and flashed. They continued for 1 minute, then another, then another. The computer had never taken this long to answer. After 10 minutes, the lights stopped, flashed, and in a deep voice, the computer replied.
Okay. And now, electrical engineer, what do you think the computer replied to the question, is there a God?
The computer replied, there is a creator for everything, but I don't know if this creator is a God.
Oh, that's a technical answer, huh, Carol? How would a lawyer probably answer this question?
Oh my gosh, I don't have idea.
Do you think this is what the computer probably said? Oh God, I have no idea.
Yes, exactly.
Oh gosh.
I don't know. I think
No?
no.
You wanna guess? Be my guest. Marco said something. Say something.
Oh my gosh, teacher, I don't know.
Equal rights, you know? Women are always fighting for equal rights. So
Yes,
without
yes.
pressure, without pressure.
I don't like this equal. I don't like.
You don't like
feminist.
equal rights. Yes,
No,
okay.
I am
You're
not
not a
feminist. Yes.
Okay.
You're not a
No,
feminist, okay.
I don't like the feminists.
Okay.
God.
I would like staying home, only study, and my
I
husband
wanted-
work.
Oh my God. I wanted a video on TikTok about this.
Oh, Max, you see, that's why I told you not to get married, okay?
Okay, sorry.
Okay, you see?
Okay, Tate, I believe in you.
Yeah, you better. Okay, remember this. So you know what the computer said?
I don't know what.
Now there is.
He said that there is.
Now, that's why.
No way!
He created one. Now there is. Okay?
Really?
A computer that was the size of a 30-story building, you understand? Now there is. He just created a God, okay? It's just
Oh
a
my
joke,
God.
okay?
Very good.
All right.
I thought that he thinks that he was the God. I am
Okay.
your God.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, I am
my.
your God. Yeah. That would be too much, huh? Okay,
Yes.
now there is. He simply created a God.
Yeah. It's not totally
Now, this one is
wrong,
very good.
no?
Yeah. The debaters, okay? To debate is to, discuss two things when you have those political debates on TV, you know? The people that participate of those political debates are debaters, okay?
Okay.
So this was a very popular activity in Great Britain a long time ago, okay? Very important, okay?
Peter,
Yes.
about the last text, tell me one curiosity. Why the Britons always like to talk about the weather?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand you very well. Can you say that again?
About the last text that you read. Why just one curiosity? Why the Britons always like to talk about the weather?
Why the British people talking about the weather? This is the
Yes,
question?
yes, because all the time that I'm looking for something on the internet, the people usually say that the Britons like to to start a conversation with
Talking about the weather.
the weather. How's the day today? Oh, it's a sunny day,
Yes,
cloudy day.
because
Why
the weather in England is terrible. Understand? Uh, in England, they say that if you don't like the weather, just wait. It's gonna change. okay? Because the weather changes like 5 times a day. Understand? It's possible that you wake up in the morning, it's freezing cold, you go out wearing like 5 layers of clothes. After 10 minutes, it gets very hot. And then after 1 hour, it starts raining a lot. And at the end of the day, it's snowing. Understand? So it's crazy. Yes. That's why they say, if you don't like the weather, just wait. It's going to change. Okay? And it's really interesting to observe how the weather changes very fast in England. Okay? Both my sons, both of them have lived in England for 2 years. Okay? And many times I went there to visit them. And it was amazing. Okay? You really have to go out in the morning wearing like 3 or 4 layers of clothes, because during the day, the weather is going to change a lot. So you can start removing or putting more layers, understand? You never know. And that's why it's very difficult to predict the weather in England, okay? Or in the United Kingdom, okay?
I see.
But now they talk about the weather, but in the good old days, they love debating, okay?
Okay.
That's what the second conversation or the second story is about. Carol, can you start reading again the first
Yes.
paragraph?
Debating is a very popular activity in Great Britain. For the British, it's important to be able to speak well and to speak convincingly. As a result, there are many debating clubs and societies in school and universities to train people to debate well.
Okay,
It's
only
here.
one remark. To train people, train.
To train, okay,
Yes,
train,
train people, okay?
okay.
Any question about this?
No.
No.
Max, can you read the second? Each year,
Each year there is a competition to find the country's best debater. One year the finalists were Stevenson from England and Magnus MacDonald from Scotland.
McDonald's. Yes.
From Scotland.
Any problem about this or no?
No.
No.
You know that the Scottish people love the British people, right? Or no?
You're positive. Yeah.
It's amazing the rivalry that exists between Scotland and England. It's amazing, understand? They have been with this rivalry for centuries. If you ever, I don't know if you have ever seen the movie Braveheart with Mel Gibson, but
Yes.
Braveheart shows the battles between England and Scotland because they wanted Scotland to be free. They don't
Yeah.
accept being part of England. They don't accept the king of England, understand? They
Yeah.
hate. And it's very interesting because I remember once I was on a train in Glasgow. Glasgow is a big city in Scotland. And I was with my 2 children who lived in England, my wife and my son, my godson. Do you know what's godson?
Yes.
No.
Yeah, God.
What meant?
Every time I say God in front of son, father, mother, or daughter, is somebody that is related to you by the baptism. Understand?
Okay. Okay.
So my godson, okay, I wanted my sons and my godson to study in England. So I sent the 3 of them there to study. And I was there with my wife, my 2 sons, and my godson. So we boarded a train in Glasgow, and the ticket collector came by, and I told the guy, can I have 5 tickets to Edinburgh, please? The guy looked at my face and said, beg your pardon, sir. I said, 5 tickets to Edinburgh. And the guy, I don't understand where you want to go. I said, we want to go to Edinburgh. I'm sorry, sir. And I was puzzled, you know, like the capital of Scotland is Edinburgh. That's how English people say Edinburgh. And the guy refused to understand me. And then I said, can I have 5 tickets to your capital city, whatever you call it? No, because,
very good.
yeah, I said exactly like this. Can I have 5 tickets to your capital city, whatever you call it? And the guy looked at me and said, oh, you want 5 tickets to Edinburgh?
Oh my gosh.
I said, I beg your pardon? Edinburgh. I said, oh, okay, give me 5 tickets to this Edinburgh. Well, when I arrived in Edinburgh, the first thing I asked the tour guide that we took was, I'm sorry, but what the fuck is Edinburgh? And the guy started laughing. Why? I said, because the guy on the train refused to sell me 5 tickets to Edinburgh. What's the name of the city? He said, Edinburgh. But why he refused to sell me the tickets? He said, probably you were talking to a very proud Scottish, and they prefer to say Edinburgh, which is the name of our capital in Gaelic. That's the language, the dialect spoken there. And Edinburgh means the fortress on the top of the mountain, because in Edinburgh there is a big castle at the top of the mountain from where they would defend themselves in case of a battle, understand?
Okay.
And then I said, okay, so you call it Edinburgh. He said, no, I call it Edinburgh because I am a tour guide and I have to speak English to everyone so they understand. But don't get offended. Many people are like this. They don't like the English people, so they are very proud of their original Gaelic language, okay? It's like Gaélico, okay? It's a very strange language, okay? But you have a lot of things like this, okay? So the English is very strong, a strong accent, okay? And there are a lot of big rivalry. I remember one day at the hotel, we ordered breakfast and the guy brought us a big plate, okay? And on this big plate, there were 2 pork sausages, a fried egg, some toast, butter, jam, mushrooms, fried tomatoes. Oh, yes, and some horrible beans. They serve
in the morning?
In the morning, yes. If you Google full English breakfast photo, full, F-U-L-L, full English breakfast photo, you are not going to believe. It's an entire dish with beans, but the beans are terrible. Only my wife could eat that, okay? It's terrible. It's sweet. And then, I don't know, I was very stupid at that time. I said, wow, a full English breakfast. The woman got so
yes, you are true. Let me see here on the Google.
Yes. Can you see it? It's exactly what I told you. But the woman got so pissed. You know what she told me? Oh, wait, sir. This is a full Scottish breakfast. And I said, oh, I'm sorry. A full Scottish breakfast. They only changed the nationality, but the breakfast was the same, okay?
Okay.
So anyway, here at the final of this competition, there was an Englishman and a Scottish man. So you can imagine what is going to happen, okay? So who's going to read now? I think it's Carol again. There were...
They were two very different characters, both in appearance and personality. Stephen Swan was a short and very fat man. He weighed over 200 kilos, and he was shaped like a ball. Shaped like a ball.
Sounds like T. Shaped. Like a ball.
Shaped. Okay, like
shaped,
a ball.
Like a ball.
Shaped. like a ball.
Yes.
He was a very sociable man.
Sociable man.
Sociable man. Stephen was always with friends, and he never stopped talk.
Okay, just let me move. He spent, continue until the end of the paragraph.
He spent a great amount of his time in expensive London restaurants debating with politicians and businessmen. They always paid the bills, so Stephen ate enormous amount of food.
Okay. Is there any question about this part or no? Understand the characteristic of the Englishman. Okay.
Yes.
Big guy, about 200 kilos, like a ball, shaped like a ball, but very sociable. He was always with friends. The friends always paid for him, so he ate a lot. Okay. Read about the Scottish characteristics, Marcus. Magnus.
Magnus MacDonald, on the other hand, was almost the complete opposite. He was tall and very, very thin, like me. He looked like a pencil and he seemed to be just skin and bones. Magnus lived in a small Scottish town, so he was quite unknown. Unknown. He was a quiet man who spent most of his time reading books in the library. He never spoke unless it was necessary. Never waste words was one of his favorite sayings.
Okay, stop there. Any problem about this part or no?
No.
It's library or library? The correct pronunciation, library or library?
No, library. Yes, if you work in a library, you are a librarian, but you say library, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so understood, one was as fat as a big round ball and was just thin as a pencil, okay?
Okay.
And he was not very well known because he lived in a very small town, okay? So, Carol, on the day of the final...
On the day of the final, a large crowd waited anxiously to see and hear the two finalists. The two finalists. They entered the debating room and stood
looking.
Okay, stood looking at each other. This was the first time that they had met. Magnus was silent. Magnus was silent. Stephen slowly looked at Magnus from head to toe and said, "So you are Magnus. Looking at you, anybody would think that there was a famine in Scotland."
Famine.
What means famine?
It's when people don't have food to eat, understand? People died of starvation, understand? There's no food, a famine.
Okay.
Looking at you, anybody would think that there was a famine in Scotland. Okay, stop there. Let's see if you have any question. So a large crowd waited anxiously to see and hear. They entered the debating room, stood looking at each other. This was the first time they had met, okay, past tense of meet. Magnus was silent. Stephen slowly looked at Magnus from head to toe. Understand this expression?
Yes.
No. Head to toe. What means no?
Yeah.
Sometimes the same in Portuguese, but it's not the...
Yes, we do have something very similar in Portuguese. Sometimes when I'm eating out with my wife and a pretty girl walks into the restaurant, if I look at this girl from head to toe, my wife is going to probably punch me on the face.
Don't do this near your wife.
Yes. Yeah, you can just look, okay, but look from head to toe, that's when you go like, ooh.
Understood. Okay.
Understand? From head to toe. Do you
Okay,
know what's
perfect.
toe?
Yes.
Because in English, we have 10 fingers and 10 toes. In our feet, we don't say fingers, we say toes.
Okay.
Understand?
Perfect.
So
yes,
he
perfect.
looked at the guy from head to toe and said, so you're Magnus. Looking at you, anybody would think that there was a famine in Scotland, you know? And then what happened, Marcus? The crowd laughed.
The crowd laughed. Magnus waited until the laughter had stopped and replied coldly.
Okay, now this is a very good reply. Do you have any idea what he said or no idea?
Magnus is the teeny guy, no?
Yes, the skinny one. And the guy told him, looking at you, anybody would think there was a famine in Scotland. And what do you think he replied?
Oh my gosh.
It's a very good reply. Probably he won.
And look at you, we can think that the food in Britain is gone.
The beginning is perfect. He started the same way. Looking at you, he said the same. Looking at you, and he continued. Anybody would think, up to this point, he repeated the same words. Looking at you, anybody would think, what?
You're a ball?
That you were a ball. No.
That there wasn't no food in Britain anymore.
There is no more food in Britain anymore? No.
Yes.
Any other idea or no?
No.
He was very smart, probably, because he looked at the eyes of the other guy and he said practically the same words. Looking at you, anybody would think, up to here is the same.
Okay.
That you were the reason for that. Because he ate all the food. That's why there was no food for Scotland, understand? And looking at you, anybody would think that you had caused it, that you caused the famine. Understand? That you were the reason for the famine. Something like this. Understand? Because the guy was so fat that he ate probably all the food that was available, and there was no food left for the Scottish people. Understand? Yes or no? Understand? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Carol?
Oh, sorry, my microphone is on mute. Oh, yes, perfect.
Yes. And looking at you, anybody would think that you caused it. Understand? Because he ate everything.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go to my favorite one, the lawyer.
I am afraid about this story.
I tried so hard to find something about a lawyer.
Do you
The new lawyer.
Oh my
I found one. And Carol, I'll give you the pleasure of starting again.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Matthews and Sons.
Matthews and Sons were a firm, the pronunciation firm of lawyers in London. They were a very old and much respected company. They had been established by Benjamin Matthews and 1770. They were also a fairly large company. 60 lawyers worked there. However, all of these lawyers were men. No woman had ever worked for the company. In today's world, this is a situation was embarrassing.
No, embarrassing.
Embarrassing, sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very
yeah.
embarrassing.
60 lawyers and only men.
So boring.
Men.
Yeah, but then Carol applied for a job there and she got it. Okay, Marcos?
Much better.
Marcos, can you read the second paragraph?
Okay. At a meeting one day, Sir Reginald Matthews, the head of the firm, said that they would have to employ a female lawyer.
Lawyer.
Lawyer. Oh, say again, please.
Lawyer.
Lawyer. The lawyers agreed, and after a long series of interviews,
Carol was chosen.
Jane was chosen. Oh, Carol was chosen.
Yeah,
Carol was a hard-working, assertive woman who got things done efficiently and quickly. Carol soon established a reputation for good service.
Service.
Displeased Sir Reginald.
Remember that yesterday you asked me about the verb to please, Marcos?
Yes.
Oh, this pleased Sir Reginald. That means this made him very happy. Okay?
Okay.
Okay, Carol, you are doing a good job. Continue reading, please.
As long as anybody could remember, the weekly meetings of the lawyers had been quiet and peaceful. At this meeting, important policy decisions were made. However, none of the lawyers had ever dared to question or argue with the decisions taken by Sir Reginald Matthews. What means dared, teachers?
Dared.
Dared. What means?
Dare is when you do something very brave. Understand? I'll give you an example. It's just an example. It's not true. Okay? One day I was dancing with a girl, and then we started kissing, and then I just put my hands in some wrong place. She slapped me on the face and said, "How dare you?" I went, "Oh, I'm sorry." Understand? I was very daring. Understand? So I think there is a TV program in the United States that has to do with I dare you to do this. I challenge you to do this. Understand? It's always something very stupid, very crazy. Understand? It's a daring thing. So nobody ever dared to question or argue with the decisions. Nobody ever said any word. Nobody had courage to say anything. Okay? Continue, please, Max.
A few months after her arrival at the company, Carol began to disagree with some of Sir Reginald's decisions. The situation gradually got worse. After a few months, they argued
at every meeting.
After 6 months, they had stopped talking politely to each other. They simply shouted.
Shoot is pay. They didn't shoot. They shouted. Okay? It's to scream. They didn't talk normally. They shouted at each other.
Meetings were now battles.
Battles. Okay. Any question about this part or no?
No.
Okay, Miss Carol, continue.
At one meeting, Sir Reginald got very angry with Jane when she said She said he was not able to run to the company. She said that he should retire and hand it over to somebody younger. Sir Reginald looked Jane in the eyes and said,
In the
Miss
eye.
Thatcher, in the eyes. Ai, o que eu falei?
In
Sorry.
the eyes. You said it
Okay,
in
in
the
the
blue.
eye. Yeah, in the eye, and said, Mr. Thatcher, you are impossible. If you were my
Thatcher.
wife, my wife, I would put poison in our tea. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
In your teeth.
god! So mean.
Yeah. And
The
what did
man
the man do, Marx? The man
in the room giggled. What is this? Giggled?
giggled.
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 Giggle is when everybody goes like,
Ah.
they started not laughing. Laugh is ka, 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 ka. Smile is giggling is like, you know,
Okay.
they were giggling.
The man in the room giggled.
So Carol looked at Sir Reginald.
Carol looked at the son Reginald and said, "What you said, Carol?"
What
You-
did you say to him, Carol?
You wouldn't stay alive to do this.
Brave, but not exact. What do you think Carol
No.
said to Sir Reginald, Marcos?
You are fired. No, impossible.
Yeah, that's not possible because she worked for him, so she could not fire him.
Yeah, it's impossible. I don't know.
Hey, Carol, come on. As a lawyer and a woman, what would you probably say?
This is Harris. What's the name? Harris.
Harassment.
Yes, exactly this word. Harassment.
How can I say
hard.
when the lawyer, when someone wants to
Sue.
Sue.
sue?
Yeah.
Yeah, S-U-E. Yes. Yeah, Marcos, one of the conditions I made it very explicit at the first class when I discovered I had two lawyers in the class is they promise not to sue me for anything I mention in class, okay? It's recorded. It's recorded, okay? So I try to protect my ass, okay? Because dealing with lawyers is not easy.
I don't sue anybody, teacher.
Uh,
I analyze the contracts. I am super
yes,
good lawyer. Yeah.
remember, Livia is a criminal lawyer, so
Yes, criminal.
okay.
Olivia is a dangerous. Yes.
Yes,
Oh
yes,
my God. So
yes.
Livia said this. I sue
Yeah.
you.
I
No,
sue you. Yeah.
no. You know what she said?
What?
What?
This is very good, a very good reply. Because the guy told her, if you were my wife, I would put poison in your tea. And she replied, and if you were my husband, I would drink it.
Very good.
And if you were my
Very
husband, I would
good.
drink it because you are terrible, understand?
Yes,
Oh my
perfect.
God. Good answer.
Yeah,
Good
that
answer,
was
perfect.
a fantastic answer. Okay, fantastic answer. Well, there is one more, but we don't have time. It's a
Really?
fantastic, yes.
Oh
Time
my
has
God.
passed very fast today.
Yes,
The
very
sheep
good.
farmer. This I'd like you to try to read at home. It's about a
Yeah.
sheep farmer from Australia, okay, that wanted to get married. He was not only a sheep farmer, but he was also crazy. He wanted to get married, understand? So he lived a very solitary life on his sheep farm, 400 kilometers away from the nearest town. So he tried to find a wife for himself, okay? I want you
My-
to read this and try to discover the correct answer.
Okay.
Somebody told me that tomorrow is a holiday, but for me, every day has been a holiday. So tomorrow is a normal day, and I'll be here again. If you want to come, I'll be here, and we'll see a new lesson. If you don't,
Okay.
Okay.
have a good Friday. Tomorrow is called Good Friday in English, okay?
Perfect.
Nice.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And
See you
I'll see you
tomorrow.
tomorrow. Okay,
I
bye-bye,
forgot
guys.
that tomorrow
Bye-bye.
is
Bye-bye.
a good Friday.
Yes,
Bye.
Good Friday is
Ah,
a good day to study English, all right?
yes.
Okay. I
Okay,
agree to
see
Bye-bye.
you.
you. See
See you
ya.
Bye-bye.
tomorrow.
Bye-bye. See you.